a bit of history regarding Gautama the Buddha. Before he became enlightened, his name was Siddhartha. Siddhartha was born in India about 2,500 years ago. Today, the place where he was born is located in Nepal. In those days, India was divided into more than 2,000 kingdoms. Each kingdom had its own king. Siddhartha was a prince. What in India are called kingdoms are fiefs for the West. The kingdom is considered something with a greater extension in the West. So, Siddhartha was the son of a feudal lord. There are many stories and parables about Siddhartha's birth. They are invented in order to make people believe that the spiritual growth that happened in Siddhartha is a thing reserved for the few, that it is established from birth. Like the story told of Jesus, who was born of a virgin mother. We all know that it is impossible to be born of a virgin mother. So, Jesus represents an exception and not the norm. There are psychological reasons because religions try to create mythological stories about the birth of the founders of religions. The most harmful is to make people believe that you have to be born in unbelievable situation. Otherwise, it becomes impossible to reach the mental state which is known as enlightenment. We all know the story of the virgin birth of Jesus. Christianity had to invent this story. First of all, Jesus never said that he was conceived by the Holy Spirit and his mother. During a meeting in Rome, the bishop decided with a vote that Jesus was born of a virgin mother. With a vote, the divine origin of Jesus was also decided. In reality, they had no choice. They had to do this, to lay the foundation of the Christian religion. Because according to the Christian religion, sex is a sin. So, how does Jesus be born with an act that is considered a transgression of a divine norm? In the same way, it is said the Buddha was born standing, and soon after his birth walked 7 steps, declaring that he will become the most enlightened person ever. During his birth, his mother, the queen, was alone in the company of her handmaid. They were walking in the garden. Then the labor pain began. the queen took shelter in the shade of a tree and remained standing. At the moment Siddhartha was born, while the mother was standing, so he went out of her and remained standing. He walked 7 steps and said he will become the most enlightened person ever. Buddha mother did not pass the birth, died of complications. The birth of Jesus and Siddhartha are both incredible. This is absolutely not true. Jesus and Siddhartha were born like everyone else. The experience they have had and what they have learned during their life has made them become enlightened masters. With spiritual work, commitment, trust, we can all achieve the same mental state. The next parable concerns what happened to Siddhartha after his birth until the moment he decided to run away from the palace. This parable, according to the speaker, is the one with the great importance in the life of Gautama the Buddha for a meditator. It makes us understand that Siddhartha did not give up the pleasures of life, but simply for him living a life of pleasure makes no sense. The same pleasure are transformed into suffering. Pleasure and suffering are the same thing, 2 sides of the same coin. Prince Siddhartha was the first son of the king. At the time of his birth, the king was already old, and there was little hope that he could have children. Hence, the king, at the birth of Siddhartha, was immensely happy. Siddhartha would become the new ruler after the king's death. The succession was guaranteed. The king, as a custom in India, had a group of astrologers called to predict what would happen during his son's life. The astrologer gathered, made their calculation, called the king and presented the report. All of them, except one, agreed that Siddhartha had 2 possibilities. The first would become a military conqueror of all over the planet. The second predicted that he will become a sannyasi, give up the world to go in search of God. The youngest and least experienced astrologer disagreed with the other. He predicted that Siddhartha would surely become a sannyasi. The king, angry, sent the astrologer in disagreement with the other away, refused to pay him because he could not accept that prediction. He would have been very happy that his son had become a conqueror. The Indian term for this kind of conqueror is Chakravarti. So, the ruler asked how to influence his son to become a Chakravarti instead of a sannyasi. Astrologer agreed. The only way to avoid that, Siddhartha renounced life, it will have been to keep him constantly in a luxurious lifestyle, surrounded by beautiful women, parties, culture. Above all, it was considered necessary that the prince never came into contact with dead or with sick people or sannyas. Then the king had 3 different castles built in different places, so that the young prince should never find himself living in a place that was too hot or cold, or during the monsoon there was too much rain. The gardeners had the obligation to remove all the dry leaves and the dead plant from the palace garden during the night, so that in the mind of Siddhartha no negative thoughts arose. All the elderly or sick people were sent away from the castle. When the young prince was outside, the soldier preceded him, making sure that his eyes never come into contact with sick or elderly people or sannyasin. The king called the best instructor to teach his son during the day. To chair Siddhartha during the evening, the most beautiful girl and the best dancer of the kingdom were called. So, young Siddhartha grew up in life, and all his wishes were fulfilled. It is up to the age of 28, when going to preside over the youth festival in the nearby city, a series or episode made him completely change his life. Siddhartha did not arrive to preside over the festival. Before arriving at his destination, he told his coachman to take him back to the castle. The same night, he fled the palace and became a sannyasi. But this is another story. Thank you for listening.